Hey beautifuls, Hannah from Reality Awareness, talking eclipses, eclipse seasons, soulmates, twin flames, what to do, what not to do, things to be aware of so you don't get swept up in the tornado of change that something like an eclipse season combined with a 17-year cycle coming to an end that we've just walked through, some of you are still feeling the effects of, are making big changes, and sometimes we regret them later. Now, I am all for trusting your intuition, acting on your intuition, doing all those things, manifesting your reality, creating your dreams, going after what your heart desires. Like, I promote that stuff. I live, breathe, and teach that stuff. However, there's something really important that I want to share with you now, today, that I've seen time and time again. I've learnt the hard way, definitely, in the past. I'm definitely improving and getting better with it. And I'm seeing and witnessing several people going through it right now, and I really, really want to speak to this. So something else that I just want to really bring to attention of as well, that's, I want to say relevant and not to what I'm talking about, but there is a piece where I see people come onto people's Facebook or come across these beautiful spiritual teachers, like someone like myself, for example, or someone they really admire. And I am talking opposite sex, you know, here, where people are, oh, like, oh my God, you're my soulmate, and oh my God, I feel a connection, and oh my God, I feel like I've known you in a past life, and oh my God, you're my twin flame, and oh my God, I have to be with you, and let's meet up, and and I'm like, oh my God, like, stop, stop. Regardless of the fact that what is happening is there is a soul recognition, sure. Does it mean that you're twin flames and soulmates and need to be together forever? Fuck no, right? Usually not. Stay away from anyone who says that to you, by the way. And what I mean by that is that when people, and I often see men, feel a spark, a connection with me online, and they're like, oh my God, you're my twin flame. Oh my God, you're my soulmate. Oh my God. And I get these random weird ass fucking messages. And you know what? They're just gross. They make me go, oh my God, you're my twin flame, and I saw you in a meditation. And it's gross, guys. It's really fucking gross. Number one, grow some fucking balls. Number two, be a man. Go and join some men's groups. Number three, if you feel a connection, your own feminine intuition is arising, is sparking, your consciousness is awakening, go and find a male coach, go and work with some men, go and do your men's circles. Like, it's like, stop being gross. Stop being gross. Stop perpetuating the toxic cycle that everyone's talking about, right? Now, as we entertain that, we're feeding into it, right? And it's up to us to set boundaries. So this is where the energy leaks I'm talking about as well. However, these energy leaks that I'm referring to is quite symbolic of the tornado that will whip through your life in an eclipse season. Now, I'm all for, and if you've followed me for a while, you'll know that I'm very much about, like, nothing outside of you can affect you, will only affect you if you let it. Like, I am big on that, right? And so when we're in a space, we're like, oh my God, it's the moon. Oh my God, it's the moon cycle. Oh my God, it's this, it's that. Oh, it's the energy. It's affecting me. Now, this is not about tolerating abuse. This is not about putting yourself in situations like, yes, there's things that affect us, and it's really important to know what is affecting us, how it's affecting us, why it's affecting us. Are we perpetuating that? Are we feeding into that? Are we saying yes to that cycle? Are we not setting our boundaries? Are we not doing what we need to do to step out of that cycle? Like, there's so many layers here, right? What I want to talk about specifically is energy leaks in a space where you will get swept up in a tornado of when there's eclipse seasons like we've just had in the last 2 months, right? We're just outside the last window of it, right? Just making sure I'm covering my notes. So when we're just stepped out of it at this point in time, we're heading into a week post like eclipse window. Like, thank goodness. Everyone's like, let me know if you guys are feeling that, right? It's a big shift. Now, the thing is with that is that in the eclipse season, and I did a post or I did a video not long ago on what happens in the eclipse cycle, really important to be aware of. I will post it in the comments below as well when I come back and I see that. When I find it, I'll come back and post that in the comments, and I might just share it on my page as well, because there's really important information about specific eclipse seasons, cycles, blah, 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 things to really note. This is almost like a stage 2 of eclipse stuff to really be aware of, because I'm seeing it so clearly in my space right now, in people that I'm aware of, like, you know, clients, all that sort of thing. And I really feel this message is so important to share. I'm all for trusting your intuition. I'm all for acting on intuitive guidance. I'm all for making a split decision and changing your life and doing it. And sometimes we need to do that. And sometimes we need to walk away from heavy, toxic relationships that are draining our soul, that we should have left years ago, blah, 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 right? And the reality is that you will feel those emotions and need to change everything in your business, shift long-term relationships, say, nah, I've had enough, out of here. And that happens in the eclipse window. Like, let's say for 2 months, like there's the, you know, the full eclipse and the partial eclipse and whatever, like whatever's going on. And it's over a period of about 2 to 3 months that we will be in it, right? That's when a lot of deaths occur. I notice that death rates go up around that time. Animals and people, accidents happen, you know, relationship breakups, divorce happen, like a lot of things happen. And like I said, like sometimes they need to happen, right? The divorces, the relationship breakups, like sometimes it's like, yes, like, hello, eclipses, like, hello, what have you been tolerating that you need to walk away from? What do you, no more, right? Like there's definitely that. Time and time again, I have coached and mentored people in the space of eclipses, and it is the heaviest, darkest, most traumatic past lives affecting current relationship ties, etc., that is coming up to clear, that is eclipsing what has been hidden, and is like, hey guys, all of this is on the table. Are you going to have a look at this? Because this is what it's all about, right? And it's like all of this needs to go on the table and be looked at. And this is where it's like, oh my God, it's too confronting. I need to walk away from this long-term marriage, this long-term relationship. I can't do this anymore. Like this is what people come to me for. And we work through the heaviest, darkest eclipse stuff, right? Past life ties, because they do intercede and affect, and multi-dimensional effect, like today. Childhood stuff, of course, is a given, all those sorts of things. And anything that you haven't dealt with, anything that you've swept under the carpet, anything that you've, you know, forgotten about, brushed about, all of those sorts of things, they will be on the table in those, you know, 2 to 3 months of the eclipses. Now, you can definitely walk away from that relationship. And like I said, if you know in your heart and soul that you need to, please fucking listen to your own intuition, okay? 150 million%. But I will time and time again see people who walk away and like, nah, it's over, come back together after the eclipses are done and go, oh, we just needed to work through that stuff. And I'm like, yeah. So whilst there's a fine line with what I'm saying, what I am speaking of here today on this particular live stream is that the toxic, heavy stuff that you've turned a blind eye to, even in your own life as well, traumas, fears, like your worst phobias, like it'll be at the forefront, like traumas that you've suppressed that needs to be healed. Like the eclipses are like, hey, we're taking off the lid so all this stuff can come up because it's time to deal with it. And it's not easy, it's not comfortable. Life is usually a tornado of busyness all of a sudden as well. You're like, oh my God, I'm getting pulled left, right, and center. When have I got time to deal with this? Like it all happens at once. And the really important thing to remember is what I want to say to you is do not make any long-term, really big life decisions in this window. Think about it, put it on the table. Think about it, put it on the table. That idea, put it on the table. That one as well, put it on the table. That one, put it on the table as well. That one, put it all on the fucking table. But do not act on it yet. Sure, do the inner work, heal, past life, work with a healer like myself, or do the work. But don't make any physical big life changes until give it a good month or two after the eclipse. So from now-ish, another 2 days, another month or two, then pick up all the ideas and decisions and choices you're going to make that you put on the table, bring them to now in another 1 to 2 months' time. Ask the same questions again, because I guarantee you will feel different to when you did in the heart of the eclipses. I guarantee you. It is rare. It is rare that a person who's like, I need to leave this long-term marriage and relationship and I'm done with this behavior and blah, 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 that after the eclipses, they're like, okay, that was just a really hard period of time. I actually really fucking love this person and I do want to make it work. Now this, again, is a fine line with what I'm sharing here because it doesn't apply to everybody. But I guarantee you won't feel the same. I guarantee you. Sure, there might still need to be some changes made in the household. There might need to be some counseling, or people need to work on their own shit, or there might be some changes that need to be made. But if you've been in a long-term marriage, it's probably not the divorce. It's probably and like I said, I'm talking a very fine line here, but majority of stuff that I see as a healer, right, that works with clients for 7 years every single day via Telegram and WhatsApp and on the phone for 7 years, I've seen this. I have seen this, right? I have seen this. I don't know what magic mushrooms have to do with it, Shane. I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Unless you take magic mushrooms, that's got nothing to do with that conversation. Anyway, the point is that in essence, or maybe it does, but not for me. In essence of the things in the relationship patterns that, and any trauma, even if you're not in a relationship, when you're making big life-changing decisions, wait, put it all on the table, okay? That have all your feelings about it, okay? Be real with yourself about it, but do not make any big life-changing decisions until after the eclipse window. So what are we now? So this is May, June, July. So reassess at the end of July, mid to the end of July, August. Not now. We're just coming out of it. Okay, is there anything else I need to say about that little decision thing? Okay, so this leads into the energy leak part that I'm talking about, okay? And again, what I'm talking here is pretty advanced stuff, to be honest. This is emotional intelligence. This is understanding your intuition on a deeper level. And I've learned this from experience and then also from working with clients consistently every single day for 7 years online. I see this like this. I talk to a good 10 or 20 people every single day, working with people every day. This is what I do. And I see this time and time again. Now, as we move into the energy leak part, okay, the little, step up to the advanced emotional intelligence that I'm talking about is that I am all for trusting your intuition, acting on what feels right, taking action before you think about it, 100%. We can make miracles happen and move mountains when we act on our intuition and really move stuff forward. We do. When you get an idea, you freaking act on it, okay? Now, there's a fine line, bit of advanced step up into an emotional intelligence and understanding your intuition and what it's actually communicating to you on a really deep level, given all of your relationship history, past life history, career history, family influences, people who are in your environment. There's a whole bunch of factors here, right? So when we look at the eclipse tornado of change, okay, that happens a couple of times a year and every year, okay, it's a time to look at what you've swept under the carpet. It's a time to voice your truth. It's a time to realize what you've been tolerating that's actually not okay. That's not sitting in okay with your soul, and you actually need to say something, and you actually need to speak up, and you actually need to be strong and courageous and shake in your boots when you do so, right? and have those really confronting, hard conversations, and you will go through a transformation, and you will eclipse out of your old self and shed your old skin and your snake and your identity like you've never done before. You will experience that. And you will come out the other side of the eclipse window rebirthed into a whole new you that you're like, oh my God, where have I been? This is who I really am. That's what the eclipses do. Yeah? Now with the energy leak, as I said, it's like I see it as like a tornado. And what I mean, because everything will shift, right? And things, and like it's like if you could imagine a box that you've stored away full of paperwork, which is all of your beliefs, value, like your whole life in a box, right? A big box of paperwork. And the tornado via the eclipses over 2 to 3 months will come in and open the lid of that box and go right down the bottom, and papers will fly everywhere. You can imagine it, right? And so what's happening in this eclipse window is like the freaking papers are everywhere. That's why we feel a mess. And we're like, what's happening? I'm losing my mind. All the things, yeah, because the energies are strong. Now, I used to, as a kid, change my bedroom around all the friggin' time. Mom, come and look what I've done. And we do it even today as adults, and I see people change their houses around or have a big declutter, and and even one particular client that I work with, and like she's not a hoarder, she doesn't have anything, like pretty much, like, do you know what I mean? Like she's really connected to energy, of course, all the things, but she'll go through these phases and she'll throw out everything. And like I witnessed it over the time working with her, and then like it got to a point where I realized, and I was like, she's doing the thing. And I've witnessed this myself. I've worked with another client, and then I also see it playing out in people in my environment and sphere now. And I'm like, ooh, they're not onto the tornado anchor. And I feel so called to talk about this because this is an energy leak. Now, I've said this to my client several weeks back, and she halts and allows, I'm going to call it a tornado upgrade now, right? And I see her now not act on the tornado, and I see her anchoring in her dreams into physical reality now. Like she's this close to work, like grounding something she's been working on for so many years. I'm like, oh my God. Now, is it just because of this tornado upgrade? Is what I'm labeling it, okay? Is it just because of this tornado upgrade, or is it a combination of things? Probably a combination of things, right? Of course it is, but this is what I'm talking about with an energy leak, and something to really be aware of in the eclipse window of the 2 to 3 months. It's so crucial. You know how I was like, get an idea, put it on the table, put it on the table, put it on the table. So it's all out on the table, but don't freaking act on any of that. Come back to everything that's on the table in like 2 months after the eclipse season window, right? Eclipse window. So the energy leak is, you know, like I said, the big cardboard box of paperwork, and the tornadoes come in, and it's like in the eclipse, and the tornadoes like sprint, and the papers are everywhere, okay? And you're trying to freaking catch them, and like, hang on a second, gotta sort this out, and you're like, just going everywhere. That tornado, I'm gonna call it an eclipse tornado. As we've described in this video, it's clear, it's showing you all your beliefs, everything you've like pushed down, suppressed, being okay when it's not really okay, all those things, okay? That's what this eclipse tornado is. When the eclipse tornado is in the box and the paperwork of your life is flowing everywhere, you will have an urge to declutter, clean out, or feel really uncomfortable, feel like you want to throw everything away, change everything in your business, throw shit away that you've held on to for years. Now, fine line here is that there's a time and a place for decluttering and getting rid of stuff like that. There really, really is. There really, really is. And again, I'm really passionate about following the flow, doing all of that. But there's a really fine line here. Are you letting the tornado sweep you up and affect you and being affected by it? Or are you allowing the tornado of eclipse change to whirl in your physical body, system, mind, energetic body, and upgrade you Or are you dispersing that energy via, this is the energy leak, are you dispersing that energy and allowing, oh shit, I need to clean that out, and oh my God, I need to declutter, and oh my God, I need to like get rid of that thing and throw that out. And again, there's a time and a place to doing all of that. But in the eclipse tornado upgrades, because they're clearing out the deepest subconscious wounds, are you allowing that upgrade to take place, or are you acting on it? And then later on going, oh, I wish I didn't throw out that really memorable piece of thing that I wanted to keep, actually, that was like given to me by my great-great-great-great-grandmother. Do you know what I mean? I'm just giving an example. But, and so like sometimes we need to get rid of stuff. Like it's a thing, okay? But again, I'm like, are you allowing the tornado to sweep you up and you be affected by it and losing yourself and acting on all this chaotic energy? Or can you sit in the middle of the tornado, allow it to shift, change, recalibrate, move everything around you, and then 2 months later, for some reason got the 2 month window, 2 months later, then reassessing what's going on. Then reassessing if you really need to get rid of that item that you've held on through the generations. I'm just using that as an example. It is upgrading, yes. Upgrading, energetic upgrades, light body coding, shifts, internal shifting. So important. I've learned the hard way about throwing everything out of my business, about changing everything in my business. And I got swept up in the tail end of it. Did you see me do that with Life Purpose Accelerator? Well, Life Purpose Accelerator, by the way, closes in 2 days. And then after, like, it closes on Friday, the price will be going up to the original price, and I'm not opening it until 2024. So I did get swept up. But for me, that was nothing compared to what I used to do, because years ago I used to change everything in my business all the fucking time. No wonder I couldn't stabilize anything, so to speak. And I used to let it sweep me up, and now I'm like, I want to change everything, but I'm not touching anything. I'm not touching anything. I want to change everything. I'm not touching anything. There's people I see in my field and sphere at the moment who are changing everything. Now, as I always say, I'm all for trusting your intuition. I'm all for, you know, we just, as I always have been referring to recently, we've just stepped out of a 17-year cycle. Like, that was the big part of this tornado eclipse window recalibration that's been going on, is that there is a 17-year cycle that is finishing and clearing out. Even still, I would not change anything or act upon any of those really strong feelings until 2 months after the eclipse stuff, personally. And even with clients, when I've shared this with them, and now she doesn't do it, and she sits there really uncomfortably because she wants to change everything, but she's not doing anything. And like I said, because of that, she's, oh my God, she's like exponentially growing rapidly, and her psychic skills have like taken to the next level as well. And now she's like this close to like grounding it in physically, a dream she's been working on for years. And this is the thing, when we can allow the upgrade, then we, you know, I guess internally and physically come into a higher vibration, and that ripples out and affects everything, right? It's like, so I really wanted to share this really important message. So when you get the urge to change and shift everything, and oh my God, like it just, if it's, there's a way to check, right? Number one, you know, like, are you doing it out of a reaction to something, right? Like, what's the energy behind it? Like, quick, gotta get rid of all this stuff. Like, oh my God, this is bad, and versus, do I really want to change this? Yeah, I do. I really want to change this. Okay, just gonna put it on the table for a bit. What date is it? Kinda. And again, this is not allowing your life to be governed by tarot cards, oracle cards, the moon cycle, eclipses, blah, blah, blah. But it's important to be aware of when making massive, long-term, lifelong changes. Time and time again, over the years that I've been working with clients every single day online, I have witnessed so many people walk away from the healing industry and they're like, nah, because they're upgrading, evolving and expanding to the next level. And it's like everything that they've done in the past, it's like the demon, the devil, the entity, oh my God, I can't believe I was doing that. And I'm like, man, you're throwing away a part of yourself. The part of you that evolved you to this point. Why are you hating on it? I see so many people when they have a spiritual awakening, they're like, oh my God, chemicals in food is bad. And oh my God, the vegetarians, you actually need to you actually do need to eat meat. And oh my God, you're bad if you're this. And I'm like, dude, like you're just at a stage of awakening. Like just because it's right for you doesn't mean it's right for everybody else, right? Any dogmatic view, I'm like the rebel in the other direction. Thank you very much. Let me have my freedom. Do not tell me what to do. So that was a really important message. Yeah. So really allow yourself the changes. Okay. Like I'm not saying don't make changes. I'm not saying don't walk away from toxic, unhealthy, domestic violence relationships. I'm not saying that. Okay. But I am saying like only you will know what's right for you. But I am saying people who have been in long-term relationships, marriages, career paths that all of a sudden are like, yep, I'm done. I'm out. Sure, it might be the right time for them to get out, but if it's in the middle of an eclipse window, I'm like, can you just hold on a minute? Can we just, let's just put it on the table. Let's do the inner work of all the things I do with my clients. Let's just keep putting it on the table. And the ones who actually listen and do that have massive shifts in their relationships, in their clarity of their intuition, in their life purpose, career path. Like I see it time and time again. And this is allowing and understanding the language of your intuition, your emotional intelligence, and how that filters into your physical reality and creates your life. It is a thing. Yeah. So I see your comments. I'm going to check them in a moment. We've got Master Manifester that starts on the 14th of June. I'm really excited about this because what we're talking about here, it's a manifesting skill. And if you really want to bring into your life, your dreams, I want to say there's systematic approaches in an intuitive flow. Let's fucking go get this and make this happen. Because as we've just seen on this video, if you're not aware of the energetic leaks and the conscious reaction or unconscious reaction to things like eclipse windows, and you're acting on that, you can see how you can sabotage something that's really good, stable, and something you've like created a brilliant foundation on, and the purpose of what you're here for. So Master Manifester, because of the eclipse, and I was like waiting for the last eclipse week window, which just finished last week. Well, it's in another 2 days. So I've extended the early bird for Master Manifester for another week. So you can still get in for the early bird next week, and then we start the following week. So the link is in the title of the comments. You can send me a message if you like that. We're doing a 3-week, so it's like a 21-day Master Manifester of your reality. Time to bring those dreams to life, bring them into solid reality. Yeah, not just airy-fairy energy leak, reacting to all the energy. It's like, no, let's allow the upgrade, ground that baby in and bring it all the way home. Yeah, so let me check these comments here. Antonio says, I've been reevaluating habits, what I think is me, just ready to do more for my health now. Yes, brilliant. Yeah, awesome. For like, it's a time for reevaluating everything. And this is the thing, like long-term habits, and this is what I was saying, like sometimes you need to walk away from things for sure. And, you know, when you reassess that in 2 months, you might still need to, or some changes need to be made in behaviors, home life, the way you communicate, the way you are with people. It doesn't necessarily mean you need to like end long-term relationships forever. Sometimes it does. Again, there's a fine line with what I'm saying there, right? Really, really important. Nicole says, I feel like it's helping align our purpose and stop acting out of emotions and ego. 100%. We're grounded in our truth. That's what it is, yeah? Nicole says, I'm loving this eclipse. It feels like I'm lifting weight off. It's lifting weight off. Yeah, definitely. If it's like a big cloak has been lifted off humanity, and really every eclipse will do that. Do you know what I mean? It lifts another layer. It lifts another veil, if you may. Yeah. It is freeing. Yeah. We need to go through the emotions. It's very normal to go through the emotions. But it's definitely freeing. Yeah. So I think, yes, It's the internal shift, the internal upgrades. I think I covered all the comments there. Really important to, like, are you acting, reacting, or are you grounding in the next level of your truth? That's really what we're doing here. If you'd like to work one-on-one, send me a message. Life Purpose Accelerator closes in 2 days, and it's the last time I'm opening Life Purpose Accelerator before 2024. So send me a message if you'd like that. It's the 12-month mentorship where you've got me on emergency call. This is where my clients shift the most and the biggest long-term shifts, because it is a long-term container. It's 12 months. We really ground into the ins and outs and all the things, and what we just talked about on this live stream is like one little anchor of the levels that we shift through, because what we have talked about on this today is advanced psychic development. I shall see you guys real soon. Master Manifestor early bird closes next week. Send me a message if you've got any questions, and I shall see you guys real soon.